Welcome back. So today we're going to talk a little bit about elementary school, junior high, high school, maybe college, work, few things that you've done on your way to get to where you are now, if you're doing those things. Most of you are probably past elementary school and junior high and high school. Some of you might be in high school, college, and many of you are probably in the workforce. So let's imagine for a moment that you interview for a job, you put in your application, you interview for a job, and you do well, right? You do well, they give you an offer, okay? Now, when they give you this offer, when you apply for a job, usually there's a job description and they'll go over the responsibilities and you'll kind of talk about what you've done in the past and how it worked and how you'd overcome problems and all the things, right, that you would do in a job interview. And if you're in school, we'll talk about that in just a moment. Now, you get the job. Okay, you get the job, and now there's certain things that you have to get done. There are certain measurable outcomes that you have to do on a regular basis in order to receive your check, which is kind of a fair trade, right? You do the work, you've been trained to do the work, you interviewed well, so they believe you know how to do the work, and now it comes time to do the work. So a week goes by, and you're going through your onboarding and everything, and you're getting to meet everybody. Let's say another week goes by, whatever their onboarding time is, depending on the job. And now you got the skills, the lay of the land, the understanding. I mean, you know it, right? And, the first check-in with whoever your supervisor is, manager, boss, whatever, they come in and let's say it's a week later, right? You had your first day of actual work, onboarding time is done, now it's work time. And they say, well, we checked on you and we know you have certain parts of this project and how's it going? We were looking and we checked with your team and it doesn't seem like anything's being done. What's going on? They said, oh, I did it. I swear I did it. I did it. Right? It'd be like, okay, well, what happened? Because none of it's here and none of it's, in our system. What's going on? Oh God, I don't know. Maybe I did it on, whatever the excuse, on a different laptop. Maybe I didn't save it. Maybe it wasn't, whatever, who knows, right? Whatever that situation might be. Entering the sales, who knows what that is? Who knows what the problem is? But now the manager's like, okay, well, we can't have this happen. So are there any questions about how to do this thing? Are there any questions about how to do this? I mean, you interviewed for it, you know your responsibilities, this is what you got to do. It's time to get started. This is what you got, right? What is it? No, totally got it. So now, it's the next day, right? And the manager's not stupid. Manager shows up early and says, hey, show me what you've done. You've been here 2 hours, show me what you've done, right? Goes back and realizes that nothing was done. So the guy says, listen, I don't think this is going to work out. I'm not sure what the issue is, but there's an issue here, so I just don't think this is going to work. Have a wonderful day, wonderful life. I hope you find something that better suits you in the future. Well, if let's say that manager, the guy didn't do it, or girl or whoever didn't do their job, they do the weekly check-in and they wait a whole nother week, right? They wait a whole week and the manager checks in and nothing was done that whole week, right? That would have been the manager's fault, supervisor's fault, somebody's fault, right? That was responsible overall for the job being done. Now, if we go through life, right, and we start at a very young age, in elementary school, and let's say, or preschool or whatever we do, and we're drawing, right? We're coloring outside the lines, then we learn to get inside the lines. And then once we're inside the lines, then we learn to start tracing letters and saying words and forming sentences. And then what happens, even at a very young age, we get a test, okay? Somebody says, hey, show me what you've done and what you've learned so far, so we can make any sort of corrections that are necessary in order for you to develop in areas of weakness or, continue on with your strengths. And what if we never had that done? What if that never happened? From elementary school all the way up to your careers, that never happened. In most cases, there might be some people that are so rigid and hard on themselves and disciplined that they'll do it anyways, right? But for most people, they probably wouldn't be as far along as they would otherwise. And whether that's in elementary school with tests or turning in homework, or junior high or high school or college, whether that's reports or book reports or any of this stuff, right? The check-ins that we have to do on a regular basis. And the reason being is things that get measured and things that get checked get done. They get done because there's a certain level of accountability, not just to others, but to ourselves. Now, what happens a lot of the time when we go to school, part of that is our parents put us there, right? Some people are homeschooled. So we kind of have to go to keep up with society. It's just kind of how it works, right? And so we assume if we do these things, we're going to be able to keep up and function as humans in society at some level. We hope, right? We hope. And some people do, some people don't. Some people make different decisions. Some people have life that throw curveballs and different variables. But let's just say in those environments, this has nothing to do with the educational system, that the goal of checking in and the goal of turning things in is to manage progress. Well, when it's done externally, it becomes a lot easier because if we don't do our work, we're not going to get into a good school. We're not going to get good grades. We're not going to make the team. We're not going to be looked at favorably by our friends and family members. We're going to be talked about. We're going to end up homeless or jobless or something, right? Now, some people might not think like that, but a lot of people do. And so we're always thinking about, what are we doing now for the payoff we're going to get later? And so we invest all of this time. And so there's a promise of a payout. And we pay that price because of that promise of the payout. Now, when it comes to health and fitness, what happens a lot of the time is we're like that first guy, where it's like we start a diet, right? And let's say we have to manage our portions, whether that's hand portions, volume portions, you're weighing everything in grams or ounces, but whatever it is, it needs to be tracked. And so when our enthusiasm is high and we think we're going to get this result that we've wanted for some time, we begin to pay attention. And so we do the thing. Right? We might not see the results that we want immediately. So we look in the mirror, we check the scale, we're testing ourselves, not recognizing the timelines and the time frames that are associated with the things that we're now trying to introduce. But if we keep track of that promise towards our body, towards our energy, towards our recovery, towards our stress relief, whatever that is, and if we're doing the right things, they eventually present themselves to us. But a couple of things happen early on. One, we get complacent. We stop measuring. We stop keeping track. And again, the things that get measured get done. If you want to manage your weight, it's important to manage weight. If we're looking to adjust our food and calories and portion sizes, it's important to become aware of food and calories and portion sizes. It's important to be aware of what we're doing. If we're looking to build muscle and strength and power, we have to look at speed, reaction times, and weight lifted, total load. Perhaps it's time under tension or total load volume. But we have to begin to be aware of these things to understand where we're making progress, where that growth is happening and where it's not. If we just say, I lifted heavy today, what does that mean? It's very generic. I ate healthy today. Did we? Right? We can have too much of a good thing. So when we have too much of a good thing, even if it's healthy, the additional calories might be stored. And so while we believe we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we might not do it at the level we need to. So, what's the purpose of this whole video, right? The purpose of this video is your whole life you've been measured by things outside. Your whole life. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you're an empowered person or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You've been measured, you've been judged, you've made it here so far. Now, if you like the outcome of those things, wonderful. Regardless of where you are, it doesn't matter. If you're looking to change those things, change things about yourself, we have to begin to introduce that to ourselves. We have to be the judges of ourselves against realistic expectations for our lives that we can achieve. This doesn't mean play, sell yourself short by any means, but it means depending on where you're getting started, certain things take some time, and it's important to recognize that. But if we start where we're at with what we have control over, we can start managing those things, we can start measuring those things, and we can start tracking those things in order to get to an outcome we want. Let's say you don't want to track anything in detail, but let's say you're inactive. You can just put a line, a dash for the days that you're active. The days you eat a vegetable, put a dash, put a line, put a little piece of paper on the refrigerator, just draw a line there. We all learn tally marks, right? At some level, starting in elementary school, probably got graded on it. So groups of 5. So the point is, if you have a goal, in our whole life, we've been given this promise of a payout if we pay the right price. It doesn't stop when we're out of school. It doesn't stop when we get a job. What happens is now we have to take those skills that we've learned and hold ourselves accountable to those things. If we do that, chances are you're going to achieve your goal much faster than you otherwise would any other way without tracking. You just want to make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing, how you're doing, and you're making progress forward. I hope this video helps. Promise of the payout. Track what you need to track in order to get to your outcomes. If you have questions about tracking, put it below and we'll get started on a conversation. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.